producers and Tyra did nothing to prevent.
Shandi's having sex in the shower with a guy. I was like, wait, what?
I was blacked out. No one did anything to stop it. And it all got filmed, all of it.
I was blacked out. No one did anything to stop it. And it all got filmed, all of it. That's not a movie script. That's a real woman describing what happened to her on a reality show that millions of you watched, cheered for, voted on. And for years, nobody said a word about what was actually happening behind those cameras. You already know what I'm about to say, don't you? Because deep down, you always knew something was off about that show. The way they talked to those girls. The way they broke them down piece by piece and called it tough love. We all knew this. We just didn't have the receipts yet. Now we do. Tyra Banks is suing Netflix. And before you roll your eyes and think, oh great, another celebrity lawsuit, I need you to stay with me here because this one is different. This one cracks open something that's been buried for over 2 decades. Here's the thing though. For years, Tyra Banks was the villain of this story. The internet turned her into a meme. The screaming, shut up, clip, the bizarre rants, all of it got chopped up and laughed at for views. People decided she was the problem. The cold, controlling host who broke down young models for entertainment. But what if that's not who she really is? What if Tyra Banks was actually one of the only people in that building who wanted to tell the truth and got buried for it? Sit with that for a second. According to her lawsuit, Tyra sat down for over 3 hours of interview footage for Netflix's new documentary. 3 hours. She talked about the body shaming, the ethnicity switching, the pressure these young women were put under. She took accountability on camera for things that went wrong on her watch. And out of those 3 hours, Netflix used 16 minutes. 16, not an accident, not a coincidence, not just how editing works. 16 minutes. Hand pick it. To build a story Tyra says doesn't match what she actually said. Her lawsuit claims those 16 minutes were stitched together to make her look evasive, cold, like she didn't care about what happened to the people on her show. And here's where it gets interesting, because one of the things Netflix focused on was Shandi Sullivan. If you don't remember Shandi, here's the quick version. Season 2 contestant. There's an incident in the house involving alcohol and a sexual encounter that Shandi says she does not remember happening. She says she was blacked out. She says it was filmed, all of it. And she says nobody on that production stepped in to stop it. That's not a drama moment. That's a young woman saying something happened to her on camera in a house full of adults being paid to supervise her. And according to her, nothing was done. Now here's where the breadcrumb drops. Because in the documentary, Tyra appears to struggle to remember details about that incident. She says production isn't really or territory. And if you're watching that, your gut reaction is probably the same as mine was. How do you forget that? How do you forget a moment like that when you've had Shandi on your own talk show multiple times talking about her life? That's the version Netflix wants you to see. But Tyra's lawsuit tells a completely different story about that exact moment. She claims she never knew Shandi considered what happened to be a sexual assault. Not at the time, and not even when she sat down for this interview. And she claims producers edited her responses specifically to make it look like she did know and was dodging the question on purpose. So which is it? Did Tyra Banks know exactly what happened in that house and choose to look the other way for the sake of ratings? Or did a streaming giant take a woman's real words, cut them down to 16 minutes, and reshape them into the version of the story that gets the most outrage clicks? Actually, wait, let me rephrase that, because I don't think this is really a question about Tyra Banks at all. I think this is a question about who controls the story. And look, we've seen this pattern before, haven't we? A powerful institution puts out a documentary. The documentary picks a face to blame. The internet runs with it. Memes get made. Reputations get destroyed. And the people who actually run these productions, the ones who write the contracts, who decide what gets filmed and what gets cut, they disappear into the background, untouched. Here's my quiet moment with you, because I want to say this part directly. I've watched a lot of these stories over the years. The pattern is always the same. A famous face gets put in front of the cameras to take the heat, while the real decision makers stay completely invisible. And every single time, the public gets handed someone to be angry at, so nobody asks who actually built the system in the first place. Tyra calling this out, whether you like her or not, whether you've laughed at her old clips or not, that's actually rare. Most people in her position just stay quiet. They take the deal. They let the narrative ride because fighting back means fighting an entire streaming network with unlimited lawyers. She didn't do that. She's 52 years old. She built an empire on that show, and she's now asking for a jury trial. A jury. Real people, not a settlement behind closed doors. Not a quiet payout with an NDA attached. She wants this decided in public, in front of regular Americans, with the full 3 hours of footage potentially coming out. And that's the part that should make you sit up. Because if this goes to trial, the unedited interview could become part of the public record. Everything she actually said in context about the body shaming, about the ethnicity comments, about what production knew and when they knew it, not 16 minutes. The whole thing. This is the part nobody talks about. We've spent years being told what to think about America's next top model through clips, memes, and a documentary that picked its villain before a single frame was shot. And the one person who might actually blow that wide open is the woman the internet already decided to hate. Everything you thought you knew about that show, about her, might be sitting in those missing hours. So here's what I want to know from you. If the full 3 hours come out and they back up what Tyra is saying, are you ready to admit you got played by an idiot? Or do you think there's something in those missing minutes that's even worse than what made it to air? Tell me in the comments, because I don't think we've heard the real story yet. Not even close.